Hey, what's going on everybody? Welcome to my channel Limitless NYC, and if you're not familiar to my channel and you are new, my channel is about my journey to financial freedom. So if you're also interested in getting to financial freedom, I highly recommend that you hit that subscribe button and also that little notification bell so you know when I post a new video. So let's get right to it. Today's video is about 23 personal finance tips that I have for 17 to 35-year-olds. The first tip that I have for you guys is just to create a simple budget. Figure out how much you make a month and figure out how much you spend a month, and then keep track of the leftover money that you have after all of your expenses. Do this either weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly. I mean, you don't really have to obsess over it, but make sure you do make it a priority in your life. Tip number 2 is if you are in debt, figure out how much debt you have. I mean, there's nothing like having $1,000 in your bank account and seeing $20,000 worth of credit card debt. But with that being said, even though that may be the situation, at least knowing and figuring out that is the situation could open your eyes to actually get out of that debt. So tip number 3 would be to just normalize living a simple life, a minimalistic life where you're not spending every single dollar that you earn. I see a lot of people that get a salary increase. They will take that salary increase and increase their lifestyle just as much. So what I mean by that is, let's say you're originally making $50,000, but every year you're spending $45,000, you're only able to save $5,000. And now let's say that you get a raise to $70,000, which is a $20,000 raise, which is great. But now let's say your expenses increase to $65,000. So at the end of the day, you're still only saving $5,000 a year. So although you made a big increase in your salary, your savings rate didn't really change anymore. That's because you're not living a minimalistic life and living below your means. Tip number 4 would be to maximize your credit score. Maximizing your credit score would mean making sure not to have any late payments, don't miss any payments. Use tools like Credit Karma and annualcreditreport.com to keep track of your credit score. Tip number 5 is to create a savings plan. So once you create that savings plan, figure out how much you can save pretty much, whether you're saving it weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly. Figure out how much you can save and then stick to that. You have to get used to paying yourself first. Treat your savings like a bill. Tip number 7 actually shows you a great way to get your savings going. So what I would highly recommend is separate your savings from your normal checkings account. And also, when I say separate, don't just create a new account with the same bank account where when you log in, you see both of the accounts together. Create a completely different account. And once you create that different account, pick a day where you are putting money into the savings and automate it. So let's say every week you're deciding to put $50 into your savings account. Automate it so you're not even thinking about it and you don't end up forgetting. And now you have an automated savings, and that becomes kind of like a bill that gets deducted from your checkings account. And you also don't see it. So let's say you go check back at it after 2 months, you see your savings grow and you didn't really have to worry about it. Tip number 8 would be for you to just spend 1 to 3 hours reading about personal finance and educating yourself as far as investing, real estate, anything you really want to learn. Just spend 1 to 3 hours a week studying those things, because no one's going to do this work for you. So you have to invest time in yourself. Tip number 9 is going to seem kind of harsh, but the reality of things is you need to make more money, because no matter how much penny pinching you do and how much money you save, how much budgeting you do, how much you cut back on your avocado toast, your coffees from Starbucks, no matter how much of that you do, there's only so much you can save, and there's going to become a cap eventually, and you're going to hit a wall. And for you to overcome that wall, the only way is to make more money. So tip number 10 can actually help you make more money. So tip number 10 would be to start a side hustle. So a side hustle can be anything from doing Uber Eats, driving for Lyft. Anything that's a side hustle is just like, it's not a full-time gig and you do it pretty much whenever you want. Could also be like reselling. Trying to work many extra hours at your regular job may be difficult for you to do because it may take up too much of your time and it's too much of an obligation. Versus doing a side hustle, you can just do it whenever you really feel like it, and that can definitely open up some extra income for you. So if you're enjoying this video so far, make sure you smash that like button, give it a big old bing bong, and also give a bing bong to the notification bell so you're notified every time I post a new video. video. And if you're not already subscribed, I don't know what you're doing, make sure you hit that subscribe button as well. Tip number 11 would be for you to just invest in assets and not liabilities. So simply put, assets are something that bring you in money. Liabilities are something that take money away from you. So invest in assets, not in liabilities. Tip number 12 would be to not compare yourself to others. It's very easy now, especially with social media, for you to compare yourself to others. You may see other people progressing at a faster rate than you, and that may make you feel bad. So please don't compare yourself to others. Don't try to keep up with the Joneses and spend more than what you have just so you can keep up. Tip number 13 would be for you to learn how credit cards work. Credit cards can be a great tool for you to save a lot of money on things that you're purchasing anyway. It can also be a great tool to help you travel for free or very cheap. And you can check out some of my other videos to show you how to do that. And if you are interested in that, let me know in the comments below so I can make more videos like that for you guys as far as traveling for cheap or traveling for free. Tip number 14 is to avoid getting comfortable. Getting comfortable can make you very complacent and you can stay in the same place for a very long time if you're comfortable. Letting yourself become uncomfortable can help you to grow as a person, teach you new skills. So get used to getting uncomfortable. Tip number 15 is for you to get out of the worry about it later mentality. A lot of us are very complacent. A lot of us tend to procrastinate and wait to always do things later. So get out of that mentality and just start things now. There's no better time to start something than right now. The thing you've been wanting to start it right now. I'm not playing. Do it. Okay? Do it. Tip number 16 is for you to set ultimate goals. So ultimate goals are your big time goals, what you want to achieve in life. But ultimate goals can also seem very unrealistic at first. So a way for you to stay motivated and stay driven to get to your ultimate goals is to write down smaller goals. So goals for you to do this month, goals for you to do this year, goals for you to do in 2 years, in 3 years, in 4 years, and 5. Tip number 17 is learn to invest in other things besides the stock market. Although the stock market is great, there's always reason for you to diversify. You know that saying, don't put all your eggs in one basket. So you definitely want to learn about other investment vehicles such as cryptocurrency, real estate, at this point NFTs, and many other things. What are some investments that you guys are doing that's not the stock market? Let me know in the comments below right now. Tip number 18 is when you are going to make a big purchase, don't be impulsive and just make the big purchase because you feel like that's what you have to do. Try to take an extra night to sleep it over, and if you still want to make that purchase in the morning, then by all means go on ahead. So tip number 19 would be to treat yourself wisely. So what I mean by that is I see a lot of people upgrading their phones every year. I would say don't upgrade your phone every year. Upgrade your phone every other year or every 3 years, and treat yourself wisely. Spend your money on experiences because phones and things, they don't really change much, and material things are just that. Especially right now when we're young, we have to use our time wisely when we don't have big families and things like that to go and travel and experience new things. So spend your money wisely and make sure you give yourself some experiences. Tip number 20 is so important that I kind of touched on it earlier, but I have to touch on it again. If you really want to get to financial freedom, you can't increase your lifestyle just because your income increases. Avoid lifestyle inflation. I see so many people just increasing their lifestyle just because their income increased. But if you would have kept your lifestyle the same as before, you don't necessarily have to keep your lifestyle super low, but don't increase your lifestyle so much that you don't notice your income increase. You want to be able to use that income increase for you to save more and invest more so you can get to financial freedom quicker. Tip number 21 is don't be afraid to discuss finances with your family members, your best friends, your significant other. So many people are scared to discuss finances, but finances are a big part of life. And for the people close to you, you should be discussing finances with them. So don't be afraid. Have that tough conversation if you need to. Tip number 22 is very near and dear to my heart because I really believe in this tip. Learn how to be frugal and not cheap. So the difference between being cheap and frugal is that a cheap person penny pinches on every single purchase they ever make, but you don't want to be like that. You want to be frugal. Being frugal is not penny pinching on everything, but prioritizing what you do spend your money on. So you want to be frugal and not cheap. Last but not least, thank you for making it to the end of the video. If you did make make it to the end of the video, please, please, please subscribe to my channel. Subscribe to my channel so you can keep up to date with all my newest videos and the newest content I have coming out for you guys. The last tip. Alright guys, so the camera did cut off for tip number 23, but tip number 23 is to just take a deep breath. Don't rush your process, because your process is your process and your process may take longer than someone else's. So don't rush just because you see everyone else. Make sure you go at your own pace and just stay consistent, because staying consistent will get you exactly where you need to go and in the time that you need to go there.